Android gaming is getting bigger and better every month it seems, and there is always a slew of new titles coming to Google Play. Whether you're a casual gamer or you want something with a bit more meat on its bones, there's usually a game coming out to suit everyone's taste. Some months are better than others, but there is usually at least one great new game on mobile every month. Let's take a look at the best new Android games from the last month. Number 1, Horror Kingdom 2. Horror Kingdom 2 is a new MMORPG. In terms of gameplay, it's a fairly typical game in the genre. You create a character, choose its class, customize its looks, and then go out questing. The game features a large open world, plenty of stuff to do, various social elements, and autoplay gameplay if you're into that. This one stands out from the pack with a separate card collecting mechanic where you collect up to 40 eidolons to aid in your quest. In any case, it has its pros and cons, but it's generally a fun game in the genre. Number 2, Dead by Daylight Mobile. Dead by Daylight Mobile is an asymmetrical horror survival game with some really neat ideas. Basically, asymmetrical is just a fancy way of saying lopsided. The games are set up with one beast player and 4 human players to hunt the beast. Thus, it's a 1 versus 4 game. The beast and hunters each have unique abilities, but the beast has a bit of an advantage. The game is entirely PvP, so prepare to face other human players, and there are some additional social elements. The controls could be better, but otherwise it's a unique multiplayer experience. Number 3, Eternal Sword M. Eternal Sword M is another MMORPG release from the last month. This one is another fairly standard MMORPG experience. You create your character and go out on the game's many quests. This one leans a little more on its storyline narrative where you must save the world in 7 days. The game also includes time travel, mounts, online PvP, and some other elements to round out the experience. It uses autoplay, a boon for some and a detriment for others. Additionally, the game does become a bit of a grind if you don't want to spend real money. Still, it's a decent addition to the genre. Number 4, Fortnite. Fortnite finally saw its official Google Play launch this last month. It's a big release considering Epic Games' insistence on doing its own thing and allowing people to download from only its own website. The company says Google's stranglehold on the Android app market is the reason for the Google Play release. For those who live under rocks, Fortnite is one of the most popular games in the world. It's a 100% battle royale shooter with some crafting elements to keep things interesting. It doesn't work well on lower-end phones, so beware of that. Otherwise, it's one of the best FPS games on mobile right now. Number 5, Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall. Game of Thrones Beyond the Wall takes place 48 years after the end of the TV show's events. It's a kingdom-building strategy game at its core. You recruit a variety of characters, build up your stronghold, and send people out beyond the wall to score loot and other things. The game isn't quite as deep as we think a Game of Thrones title should be. Additionally, the game lacks the finer touches you would expect in a mobile game in 2020. For instance, the cutscenes aren't voiced over and also have no sound effects or music whatsoever. It's a bit drab, but the mechanics are solid. Hopefully some further updates improve the story experience a bit. Number 6, Gris. Gris is a puzzle platformer with a very strong emphasis on the game's narrative. You play as Gris, a girl dealing with some major league mental problems. The game is kind of a deep dive into her mind and you learn more as you play. The game doesn't have the usual obstacles like death or danger. You're free to explore each level at your own pace. Additionally, the game has virtually no text aside from the tutorial, so it's a story told entirely through imagery. It's quite the unique experience. Number 7, Gwent, the Witcher card game. Gwent, the Witcher card game is, well, a mobile adaptation of the Witcher's card mini-game. It's a fairly decent card-style dueling game. You collect cards, build decks, and challenge other players. It boasts a steady progression without pay-to-win elements, a sentiment echoed by most players so far. The graphics and gameplay elements are strongly reminiscent of old Magic: The Gathering games, even if the actual rules are vastly different. It's fun to play and a good, easy-going dueling game with a ton of content. This one should remain good for a long time as long as the developers don't get too greedy with it. Number 8, Idle Mafia. Idle Mafia is an idle tap game with a surprisingly robust amount of content. The core game loop is about the same as any other idle tapper. You invest your money into various things and constantly earn money in the background as you do other stuff. There's not only a gacha element to the game, but you can expand your mafia empire in a variety of different ways and earn money from each one. You can also earn free stuff with video ads at a decently fair rate. Number 9, Sky Children of Light. Sky Children of Light is a beautiful adventure game with some MMO elements. Players explore 7 large worlds and meet other players along the way. The game world features colorful environments, plenty of secret areas, and open world exploration. It's not quite an MMORPG, but it kind of feels like it in some ways. There are even a bunch of ways to customize your character. The satisfying graphics and excellent gameplay mechanics make this a sleeper pick for one of the best games of the year so far. Number 10, War of the Visions FFBE. War of the Visions FFBE is the spiritual successor to Square Enix's and Gumi's extremely popular Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. However, this one is done in the theme of a Final Fantasy Tactics title. It uses a lot of the same world ideas, such as the ability to summon visions for help on the battlefield, but it's an entirely different storyline. The game has its ups and downs. The mechanics are solid and the storyline and soundtrack are actually quite good. However, the game suffers from clunky menus, the occasional crash issue, even on newer devices, and the developers handle in-game currency surprisingly poorly considering how free-to-play friendly the original Final Fantasy Brave Exvius is. It's a decently good game with some bad decisions and we hope those bad decisions get fixed.